All right, welcome everybody. We're back. We're back.
Woo!
We're back.
I feel like we've been gone for
It
months.
does seem it's only been 2 weeks but then it was like 1 and then 2 weeks.
It's one than two. Oh,
I've
Jeff's ready for some
been a
Galileo. Yes.
very,
Galileo.
very, very, very busy
Yes.
summer so far. So I think we're good for a little while until Ticonderoga week.
Until Ticonderoga, and then we're
actually,
off
we
again.
probably should. I don't know. Well, that's up to you because we think we don't start till like the Thursday or something.
I don't come till Thursday, so we might too. We'll see.
Anyway,
We'll see.
We're not there yet. A couple weeks away, 2-3 weeks. So anyway, so I thought maybe we'll just do a little other since we're still in the thick of Galileo Project. It is coming along. Just because you guys aren't necessarily seeing stuff of what's going on in the building, that doesn't mean a lot.
Yeah, if you are a Kickstarter backer, you may get a couple pictures, but
yeah, James wants to keep it kind of under wraps for the big reveal.
The big reveal, yeah.
So you guys, it's gonna be cool. It's coming along. It is coming along. So, anyway, hey, Chris LaRoche and Bill, always nice to see you, and Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back.
Yes,
Remember who we are.
Remember, we're still here.
When we're off, that's your chance to
right? Branch out.
Never come back.
Find something else to do on a Wednesday night. Anyway, so I thought we would do 2 more of the Galileo sort of featured episodes. That would be thank you, Chris. I know I'm wonderful. And said Bill beautifully. He's got to be talking to me.
It's got to be talking to himself.
It's got to be. So Metamorphosis and the Immunity Syndrome. So
one of those episodes I like. One of those episodes I don't.
I wonder which we're gonna find out. Anyway, before we get into that, I think you have news.
I do have news. I have all kinds of news. Guys, I'm gonna start the news on a bum note. They say death comes in threes, and it has in fact hit us in threes. We've lost Hayden Panettiere at the very young age of 36. Sci-fi fans probably know her best from Heroes. I don't know what other sci-fi she might have done. We have lost Dolly Parton. I know that's not a sci-fi person. I guess the closest she got was, she was mentioned in the Orville. They talked about Dolly Parton in the Orville. But she was just a good all-around person, and she was
an amazing person, really.
Her acts of kindness are phenomenal. Like, just unreal.
She really was a good person. So it is quite a lot. She had been fighting cancer, I guess, for quite a while. So
yes, and we didn't know. And then finally, this just broke this afternoon, guys. We have lost Tim Curry at the age of 80. The cause of his death has not been publicly revealed, but we know him best from Clue, Rocky Horror. But he was everywhere. He was in Hunt for Red October. He was in Muppet Treasure Island.
He was an amazing actor. Yeah, and I think he had been sick for a while too.
Yeah, he had a stroke. He had been in a wheelchair and had a stroke sometime back, but he was like in good spirits and feisty still. So I
don't know how old. How old did it say? How old he was?
He was 80. He was only 80.
Oh, he was 80. So I didn't realize he was quite that old. That's amazing. Of course, Rocky Horror. We know him probably what people know him best for, but he was amazing in Clue. And he was also the devil in
Legend. Yeah, Legend.
Yeah, amazing.
He did a ton of voice work.
Tons of voice work. Yeah,
including
lots of sci-fi stuff that you probably don't remember. That what was it? Earth 2. He was in that.
Yeah, that's right. He was in Earth 2. Like Earth he just 2. Kept popping out. Like every time you turn around, you're like, oh hey, there's Tim Curry.
He had a stutter in his career after he did Rocky Horror, I think, because of the whole genre of that, or the storyline there, and like a lot of people in the 70s that played anybody that was gay or transgender immediately was like, oh well, you're off.
Haunted the rest of their lives, but not Tim Curry. He managed to get past that.
Oh, Billy, what's his name? From Soap. I'm having a tough time. The comedian. Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Was he gay on Soap? Yes, he was gay on Soap.
Yeah, he was the gay guy in Soap, and he didn't get work until he ended up having to really go backwards and went to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And then he did the whole Fernando. Remember Fernando? You will look marvelous. Remember Fernando?
And then we all fell in love again.
And then he did City Slickers, and then he became and then of course
and then he became Billy Crystal.
Bye, Harry Met Sally, which is also a very good movie. Excellent movie. So anyway,
So that's from the tonight's episode of Sci-Fi Distill has been brought to you by Liter Cola. That's right, Liter Cola, the best 32 ounces of cola.
It's not a liter. Yes,
it's not a liter.
Had to Americanize it.
And also, kids, everyone out there, it said Super Troopers 3, but all of the quotes and stuff in these quotes are on the bottom. They're all from the first movie. It's all the best quotes from the first movie.
It's funny. But they had come on. The popcorn bucket was epic.
Popcorn bucket. Rizzo and I are both
epic.
devotees.
Who wants a mustache ride?
All right, who wants much? All right, let's move on with the news tonight. Rizzo was off doing Rizzo things. I had nothing to do, so I have 1, 2, 3. I watched it, so you don't have to. And I have done so much TV watching. I watched. Is
that Strange New Worlds?
Yeah, and I did catch up on Strange New Worlds. And I'm reading something too. I watched it so you don't have to. Dark Matter, both of them, kids. Dark Matter on Apple returns. Season 2 of this sci-fi thriller premieres August 28th.
That is a strange series.
It's a very strange show. I like it.
It's good. It's good.
So that upcoming second season has 10 episodes. It'll start August 20th, so this Friday, and run through October, Halloween, basically. Dark Matter on the CW, guys, that was a 2 or 3 season show back, and it ran from like 2015 to 2017, and I'm plowing through that now, and that's fun.
That's Sci-Fi Channel. It was originally Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
And they canceled that one abruptly. That's the one where they don't have their memory.
Yeah, they wake up, they have no memory. They all think
that was criminals. A Sci-Fi Channel show. Yeah. It ran around the same time they did that other show. I can't think of what the name of it. It had a weird name, like like Buckaroos or some stupid name like that. It was something like that. Killjoys was the show, and Killjoys got another season, and they killed Dark Matter, which actually I think is a better show.
Dark Matter is a good show. It was fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I hate to give you it ends in a cliffhanger.
Because it got canceled. God damn it.
Because it got canceled. Yeah.
I'm also watching, so you don't have to. If you want to see something that's like Rick and Morty meets Quantum Leap, sort of, I'm watching Stuart Fails to Save the Universe. It is a Big Bang Theory spinoff on HBO. It is even quirkier and weirder than its parent show. I think it's cute. It's got this reality jumping setup, but with an R-rated sense of humor. And it's a nice twist on the multiverse. And yes, Quipke is there with his wisp.
Quipke.
The way he talks, Quipke.
Yeah, the very heavy wisp.
Right, yeah. And then what else did I watch that you don't have to? Dark Matter, Stuart Fails to Save the Universe, Strange New Worlds, I'm all caught up. Oh, Lanterns. I'm watching so you don't have to. Lanterns on HBO. Yes. 2 thumbs up. I'm enjoying. A little darker, a little grittier. Hal Jordan's an asshole in this one, but you kind of love it. And yeah, I like
Isn't that kind of like the whole
that's how he was.
The critics of it, and again, I don't necessarily go by the critics. I haven't seen any of it, but they do have a point. It does seem to be the James Gunn kind of, we're not going to make our kind of superheroes kind of assholes or just dark or broody or
but wasn't he kind of a prick in the comics?
Not that I didn't. Well, comic books I never watched. I'm just, for my only experience with Green Lantern were the cartoons. The actual animated cartoon.
Oh, no, that's softened up for children. No, I think in the actual comic he was a little more arrogant. Like he was a little bit.
Well, and that, of course, the movie, which was terrible.
Oh yeah, well that's Ryan Reynolds. All right, moving on. I'm done watching it, so you don't have to. I would say you do have to watch Lanterns, but the other stuff is up to you. I just started reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I found out it's on the docket to be a series over at Peacock with Seth MacFarlane as executive producer. Dungeon Crawler Carl is the thing right now, and it is Running Man with a 12-year-old boy's sense of humor.
Interesting.
Moving on, Vision Quest. The TV series, not the wrestling movie, which my sister-in-law said this weekend. She's like, I'm so excited. Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkins will be back in Vision Quest. And I was literally like, the wrestling movie? My brain would not shift into 2026.
Yes, another Vision show.
Another Vision show. Murderbot season 2 is in production now. Its guest cast has been announced, and it's everyone but the kitchen sink. I cannot believe this guest cast. Steve Buscemi, Wanda Sykes, Patton Oswalt, Martha Plimpton, Bridget Everett, Michael Sheen, Tremel Timmon, who I adored on Severance, Blair Underwood, who I haven't seen since LA Law,
right?
and Topher Grace, among others. I love Murderbot. Looking forward to see it. No date.
Surprised it took so long because it seemed like it's the last season ended quite a while ago. I wonder what why it took so long to get. I always keep waiting for it to pop up, but I guess that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah. And then finally, not finally, but this is not sci-fi, but I like to mention it. Only Murders in the Building is coming back soon. They have announced Martin Freeman, along with 3 Doctor Who stars, Jodie Whittaker, David Tennant, and Peter Capaldi, guesting for this next season. Black Mirror Season 8 is in production over at Netflix. And then finally tonight, Rizzo, let's talk about it, because we always say we're going to talk about it, and then we don't. I am all caught up on Strange New World.
Oh, God.
And woo!
Honestly, okay, here's my take. So, I mean, up to it. It actually, I think the first 2 episodes actually were a strong start. Believe it or not. I did not mind the time travel dinosaur one. I know, like every sci-fi has done an episode or some where they somehow were the ones that caused the dinosaurs to die.
Yeah, that started
like
the whole
that has become like a sci-fi trope. Doctor Who's done it. So now, all right. So anyway, and actually Star Trek has done it in novels before.
Yes.
So they've had stories where that. So
I'm not going to freak.
So that one wasn't bad. And then what was the other one? Oh, the ghost ship one.
Oh, it was very Event Horizon scary.
It was very Event Horizon.
Like,
and I didn't mind that one either. But then we got to.
And then you get Whiplash because the very next episode is "Dude, Where's My Car?" Or
yeah,
Dude,
it was like. Which honestly, I have to admit, I fell asleep through like a quarter of it.
They're running around. They're all stoned. Right?
Yeah, it was very
it's hilarious.
I guess it was trying to be like their version of Shore Leave, maybe. Of the episode Shore Leave from the original series or something. Like they were trying to. Of course, they had to patch the relationship between Scotty and Ortega. And I'm sorry, Ortega is just as a character is just annoying.
Oh, I actually kind of like her better.
I really cannot. I'm starting to not like her and dislike her.
I like her better than Pelia. I love.
Oh well, Pelia is just annoying. She's another one.
But
I don't know. You notice they're phasing, like she's having less and less to do, and it's more Scotty.
Yeah, I was surprised how much she did in the puppet episode. Actually,
yeah. So that was then they did the TV noir.
Yeah, they
like,
did the TV noir, and that one I fell asleep
feel.
during. Because I was like, we've done this. We've done the occupied Nazi bullshit.
It was very film noir, looking very 40s kind of very occupational. It was obviously the Klingons. They brought in Core.
Yeah, they brought in Core.
And I mean, yeah. Well, the thing that was silly was there was a lot of stuff that was stupid in that episode. For one, we talked about it earlier. So they're in this part of the universe, and there's this sun or whatever, and it makes everything, it takes all the color out, so everything's black and white. Yeah. So that's how they explain shooting. But then they're in the shuttle, and they're like, "Oh, we'll close the shields." So they close the shield, the blast shield.
And I expected color.
And it's still black and white. I'm like, well, wouldn't the ship's lights be the right color, whatever frequency?
Are these wavelengths penetrating the shields? What's happening?
It doesn't make any sense. So that was stupid, but that was like a minor stupid. But the other thing that you're like, they go through, they're like, so this D7 that's just hanging there didn't see the shuttle at all, that they couldn't get past.
They didn't have their
meanwhile, the probe goes and gets past it, no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
But the shuttle couldn't, and it couldn't be seen either. So then they go down to the planet, and they go through the shield, and they know they went through the shield, but apparently the Klingons are like, yeah, something came through the shield. But we don't know what it was, so we're just going to ignore it.
We're just going to not pay attention for now. Yeah.
Like that didn't make any sense either.
Too busy shaking down the local population than to worry about any shit that's going on.
Little stuff like that, niggly. Overall, not the worst episode. And then we get to the puppets. So these are going to be spoilers. So it's a transporter accident.
If you haven't watched it, turn it off now because
Scotty has a transporter accident when he's trying to experiment.
Bring the puppet out.
Bring the puppet, and he turns everybody into puppets except Spock, because Spock wasn't on the ship; he was in the shuttle.
shuttle. Also, hey, side note, super side note. I'm glad we're doing this tonight because did you notice that the first 4 episodes of Stranger Worlds all featured the shuttle? And I don't know if it's called the Galileo on.
Yeah, it's Galileo.
World. Is it the Galileo?
Yeah.
See, it's timely.
I believe it is. Unless somebody could cross-check me on that, but I believe it is Galileo. I could be wrong.
But no, yes, go off on the puppets, please.
So the puppets. I mean, so here's what I was saying earlier. It's another silly episode, and this is my problem with Stranger World. Too many silly episodes. We've talked about this ad nauseum. You get 10 episodes of the show, and 3 out of the 10 are stupid, silly episodes. And it's like, come on. So this one was, again, it was funny, and there were some actual funny moments.
There were some funny moments, and most of them were courtesy of our guest bad guy, Rachel
Yeah, the
Harris.
bad guys, which was, I forget her name. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Her name is Rachel Harris. You know her as the psychologist on Lucifer.
Right. And the other one was the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Charles. I can never.
They were hilarious. And the fact that
they were
did
funny.
With puppets with straight faces was awesome.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, they did some funny stuff. My thing was, again, it's a silly, stupid episode. And again, spoiler alert, thank God they kind of saved themselves at the end. It all turns out that it's Spock's dream. It never actually happened.
Spock was self-psycho.
So, I mean, to me, that's like, okay, you kind of saved yourself from being really, really stupid. Only partially stupid. But like I said to Mary Beth, earlier, I said the overall plot of that episode wasn't bad, except for the puppet part. Like, in other words, if the transporter had shrunk them down so they couldn't, because that was part of the joke, they couldn't operate the ship because they had little puppet hands.
Yeah,
they couldn't grab anything. But they also couldn't be killed.
Wouldn't recognize their fingers.
Yeah, they couldn't be killed either because they were stuffing.
Yeah, they actually space Captain Pike. They space him as a puppet. Yeah. And they're like, oh, and then he's just out there swimming.
Yeah, because he doesn't need air. Because he's a puppet.
I don't need oxygen.
So, but I mean, they could have done the same thing and maybe shrunk him down or something. I don't know. Actually, TOS animated series did something like that. Didn't they do something where they were shrunk?
Yeah, they might have done a shrunk one. But yeah, the puppet episode, I completely agree with your assessment. The funniest line came from Rachel Harris, who she fires on the Enterprise. And the puppet crew, so Puppet Pike is like, damage. How much damage is there? And she's sitting there on the view screen, and she goes, a lot. And here comes some more. And she just doesn't care. Like,
it was a little silly. So I don't know. That's
that part was great. I hated the end where the puppets were just going nuts on the bridge. Trying to attack the.
Well, it didn't make any sense because they couldn't. They tried that. All of a sudden, now they're having an impact where before they didn't. Like they tried to attack them, and of course, they just bounced off.
Enough power to push a human.
Of course, that was like it didn't make any sense. Okay, I get it when like one of them they were trying to they would somehow get one stumble backwards and trip over the other one.
The puppet holding someone's leg down. No, that doesn't happen.
No, their retaliation didn't fit. Because what they did was almost the same thing they did initially and were easily overcome. So
and were overcome the first time. They should have been
stupid. That kind of was kind of silly. So, but anyway, didn't matter because it was all a dream.
It was all a dream. And puppet to bring.
And puppet to bring, like they had to bring. Well, I guess again because it was a dream, he had to bring to bring. Although she was really there, right?
She was really there. It was the horror episode. Episode 2 was the horror, and she was not really there.
No, but she showed up in this episode. He called her because he needed help.
Yeah, and then she shows up at the end. No, she's like, if you give me a ride, I'll help you with whatever. And he goes,
so she was really there.
She was really there. No hijinks, no shenanigans. And immediately upon beaming aboard, she is turned into a puppet.
Well,
and shenanigans ensue.
You saw that coming.
I will pistol whip the next person who says shenanigans.
Anyway, hey, Barbara, it's that restaurant you like with the funny shit on the wall?
The goofy shit on the walls.
And the cheese sticks. You mean shenanigans? Sorry, we're super trooping.
When that's more fun.
Anyway, all right, enough about that. Watch the show at your own peril. I guess.
Watch the show at your own peril, whatever.
Like I said, I think I think actually that's the problem with Stranger Worlds is they'll hit a couple episodes that are actually watchable and aren't horrible.
Good. Yeah.
And then they'll do these just stupid ones. It's just frustrating.
Do Stranger Worlds. You do not have enough episodes in your season to do the fun ones. Don't.
This is what I'm saying. At least
writers. Are you a writer? Hello out there. Is this thing on?
Stop. I don't know why they feel they need to write some good episodes.
Write some good episodes. You need some help.
I mean, out of look at the original series. Okay, what were there? 79 original episodes.
Yes.
How many of those were silly? Trouble with Tribble. Maybe Shore Leave.
Shore Leave.
Anyone
There's
else
been a couple of them. I mean, I hate Way to Eden and stuff like that.
That's borderline. So maybe we'll give it as 3. We'll call it 3 just to be generous.
And then maybe that one where Riley's singing "I'll Take You Home Again."
Naked Time.
No,
50-50. No, that was funny. That wasn't a whole silly episode.
No
that part was funny.
At no point does Kirk sing. At no point. Oh, well, he does dress up in costume. Like he does wear the gangster costume when they go to the.
That's true.
That's true.
That would be a funny. I actually think. Actually, I think that one is a piece of the action. Is actually we'll give that a funny episode. I think that is kind of a funny episode. So we'll say we'll be generous and say 4 or 5 out of 79 episodes.
Out of 79. And we're going to talk about 2 of them tonight. Rizzo, do we have a drink? Are we drinking anything?
We did. Okay, so you guys, you gotta. So this is my drink, pomegranate mocktail. Okay. So how did I get to mocktail? You could throw some vodka in this, be fine. How did I get to mocktail? So my thinking was immunity syndrome, an immunity drink, and all these healthy drinks came up. So I was looking for something named after immunity.
Nice.
So this is sort of a healthy drink because they used like sweetener rather than real sugar, and so, but you could easily dump some vodka in this and you'd be good to go. So it's grapefruit juice, pomegranate juice, some liquid sweetener like stevia, grapefruit flavored seltzer, and some pomegranate. That's it. There you
Sounds
go.
Nice.
Yeah, nice stomach drink. Nice. All right, that's where I went. Kind of weird, but there it is.
Okay, go branch out.
All right, so we'll start with. Now we did. I was thinking just like right before the show, we did Metamorphosis with Roy.
Yes, we did.
All right, so everybody log off. Go find that episode. It was about a month ago,
and then come back.
Everyone would watch it, and no,
in all fairness, I'll confess to the audience right now. I really like Immunity Syndrome, as I like a bottle episode. I like Zephyr Cochrane, but I don't like Metamorphosis, mostly because of that chick, the girl,
the one from Father Knows Best.
Oh, is that where she's from? All right, let's get into it. Which one do you want to do first? Are we doing Metamorphosis?
We'll do Metamorphosis first because I don't think, like I said, I think a lot of these people on here probably already watched it with Roy, so we don't really need to rehash. It does feature the Galileo. It's probably one of the, besides Galileo 7, that has the Galileo full-size craft in it.
She's sitting there and she's being a snob.
Because they're always going back to it when they land on this planetoid. Of course, you guys know the Blaine plot. They get pulled off. They're always shuttling somebody in a shuttlecraft when they really shouldn't be. She's like an ambassador. And she needed to go to some planet to negotiate something, I believe. But she was sick, so they were transporting her back to the Enterprise because she had this rare disease and she was going to die. But McCoy could have saved her on the Enterprise. Now, why he just didn't bring whatever drugs or stuff that he could have saved her right then and there or wherever she was?
You would think,
because that's the plot. Anyway, so they get pulled off. Of course, they're on this planet. They find Zephyr Cochrane, who's still alive after hundreds of years. He's got to be like 100.
And looking fly, I might
looking
add.
Good, looking handsome, a lot better than James Cromwell did. And anyway, yeah. So apparently, there's the what do they call the companion?
The companion.
And it's just an energy creature that apparently has a thing for Zephyr. Has a thing for Zephyr, and It's just sparkly lights. That's all
Sparkly lights.
The companion looked just like the lights of Zatar. Did you notice that? Same. They
They
like
look suspiciously familiar.
Same effect.
Suspiciously similar. They could be a related species.
Really, they could be, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So they realize that the companion is in love with Cochrane, and to save Doctor, what the heck's her name?
Yeah, what would
What was her name? The character's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Ambassador or something, or
H-E-D, doesn't it?
Hedford. Commissioner Hedford. Commissioner Hedford, I believe is the name.
You just pull it up.
Anyway, so to save her life, they merge. There's always merging going on. They became one, and so but he stayed on the planet because she can't leave because she would die.
Now, Chris is reminding me that she was off to stop a war. What happened to that war after she dies?
We don't know. That's why I said that could be another. Remember, we were going to do the Kirk effect.
Oh yeah, that's right. We should still do that.
There's another Kirk effect episode. Like, what happened to the war if they didn't get Commissioner? I'm sure the answer is they found another commissioner to fill in for the only person in the universe that could have stopped.
Yeah. There's other ambassador, whoever they needed.
So Commissioner
but this one bit the dust.
But like, she was nasty and rude.
Do they have to send a note home to her family and say sorry she died out on this planet?
Well, she's not really dead, as long as we remember. No, yeah, that's a good point. Are
there procedures for this? And because later on in Immunity Syndrome, we're going to see a whole bunch of procedural stuff. We're going to see how the bridge operates during a crisis, which is exciting and all.
Right.
Not now. Here we're gonna just kill people and keep on trucking like it.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of the basic plot, and like I said, we covered a lot of it on Roy's show, and a lot of people like this episode for some reason.
That's right.
I'm with you. It is not on my top 20.
No.
I do like the Zephyr Cochrane character.
Me too.
Of course, there is the kind of a canon problem with the movie because he says he's from Alpha Centauri, and everything else in Star Trek that Zephyr Cochrane was
he's
from
so
Earth.
Much older in the movie. Let's just pretend that he came.
So this is how I part, because this is a James issue. Zephyr Cochrane was from Alpha Centauri, but we can assume that Alpha Centauri was a colony of Earth since they're human. And he just moved there, and that's why they said he was from Alpha Centauri, because that was the last place he may have lived.
Fair
but
enough.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Here's the thing. Hear me out, since we're going down this rabbit hole. It never made any sense to me that he would have been from another planet that invented warp. Because the whole point was that Earth invented its own warp and then warped out into space and met other people. Now, that might not jive with what Roddenberry originally thought, that maybe we were just out there on impulse power, and because they do say the Romulan War.
Yeah, maybe we were just in our own
place. Remember, they said they make reference in Balance of Terror that the first Romulan War, which was 100 years before the Balance of Terror episode, that they fought it with basic impulse engines, and they could never see the enemy and all that stuff. So maybe that's how Earth found Alpha Centauri, who had warp drive.
That is a great question. I tend to favor the James Cromwell story.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense. I think that makes more sense that he invented it. A lot of people don't like the fact from First Contact, the movie there, that he's kind of just, I want to make a buck. I don't really give a crap about humanity. I'm just inventing this thing to make money to sell. I kind of like that because it made him more human to me. It made him more like a real person to me. That he wasn't just this, that the whole fact he hated the fact there's a statue of you right there looking to the stars, and he's like, I don't want to be a statue. I just want to make money.
I prefer that characterization. I
thought that was a good rendition of him to show that, because then in Enterprise they do show that he
in Lower Decks becomes a whole amusement park.
Yeah, it becomes an amusement park, but I mean in Enterprise, especially the first season, the first episode, they kind of talk about how he's dead by this point, or apparently gone off into space, as we may know. he did embrace the significance of his discovery, invention, so to speak, later on. Yeah. So, and I love the fact that they, in Enterprise, they do reference, because there's a Borg episode in Enterprise, and they go back and they say, Zefram Cochrane gave a speech one time. It was weird. He was talking about these aliens that were part machine, and because he's referencing back to the movie. You know what I'm saying? If you watch it, they did connect. I like the way they connected that in Enterprise. I know we're off.
Did they? Yeah, I guess.
Yes, they did. There was an episode where they uncover a Borg, a Borg spaceship frozen on the North Pole.
Yes.
And they wake up and they take over the shuttle, and they eventually get away and go back to Borg space, and they don't really ever figure out who they were. So that's how we don't know the Borg in Picard's time, because they got away. But while they're on Enterprise, they're saying, like, Archer or somebody says, I remember a speech from Zefram Cochrane, and everybody thought he was crazy because he started talking about these aliens that were part machine, and how they saved, they basically, and people from the future. And it was like his players thought he was ramblings of an old man, but of course he was talking about First Contact.
Yes.
Anyway,
Jeff and Chris are both reminding us that Kirk does say at the end of the episode, they're just going to have to find someone else to stop the war. And that is such a great example of a Kirk effect. Jeff Rubel is also reminding me, Cochrane supposedly looked older because he had absorbed a lot of radiation when he was working on the Phoenix. He's actually in his 30s. I don't know about that. Was that from the movie?
I don't remember that, Jeff. Was that? I don't remember them
that
talking
detail.
about that.
Admittedly, I'm not the most, devotee of Star Trek, but
no, I don't. Well, I'm not saying it didn't. They didn't say it in First Contact, but
I'm not
maybe
a fanatic devotee. I'm a devotee.
I don't know. So anyway, so that's Metamorphosis. I mean, the shuttle, you get to see a lot of cool. You get to see the back of the shuttle the most in this episode, and Spock working on that little hatch in the back.
Yeah,
where he's fiddling with things, and you get a good shot of the rear of it.
I think in both episodes you get a good shot of them coming out the way they walk across to the nacelle and then down, or at least in one you do. I think in Immunity Syndrome you do. They come out.
Well, you can, because I'm going to tell you, that whole nacelle, that wing, if you want to call it, that the nacelle is attached to, is all metal. It's very heavy. Yeah, so that could easily be walked. I mean, the whole thing you could walk on. I mean, when it was built, it was built solid. Yeah, hence the fact that at NASA, kids were using it like a jungle gym.
Yeah.
Literally. So, but yeah, it's a good, for as far as the Galileo goes, it's a good shot of you get to see a lot of it.
Good shot of the interior, which
you will notice that they conveniently always put a rock right where the wheels are under the nacelle.
I noticed that.
Yes. So because they had wheels under the nacelle so they could roll it in and out of the studio. And they always put a convenient rock or something there to cover the.
I'm actually thinking of Strange New Worlds, because maybe it was on Strange New Worlds. Spock came out of the shuttle, and I liked the way the doors opened.
Well, they copied a lot of it. They tried to. They did. I will give the designers a Strange. The Enterprise, like the outside of the Enterprise, like the interior is just messed up. The exterior is not bad at Enterprise, and the shuttle it's much bigger.
It is much bigger.
One of the things, like, I mean, they're huge
on the inside. But the basic shape is that kind of basic.
It's very similar. It has the little wing, little curves at the top.
Yeah.
So they definitely took that and tried to modify
it. Bill and Jerry.
Heavy drinking didn't help either. What are we talking? Who's heavy drinking? Oh, the Cochrane.
Oh, how Cochrane aged.
Yeah. Yes, and of course they did, the Montana thing where they have the Bozeman, Montana.
Guys, if you're wondering, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, if you're going to talk about the Galileo, why aren't you talking about the Galileo 7? We talked about it.
We did a whole show on the Galileo 7.
We did a whole show just on the Galileo 7.
Yeah.
Probably when the Kickstarter kicked off for the Galileo.
Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah, I want to say it was like April.
So we haven't forgotten about the Galileo 7, the all-time Galileo episode.
Yes. The double meaning that the seven people on board, and that the fact that it is 1701-7.
But now we're moving on to other episodes that feature the shuttle.
The shuttle. Now there weren't that many that actually featured the full size shuttle. There were several. Anytime we saw it flying in space, obviously it was a model.
There's a model.
So we don't see it in the hangar deck and on a planet in too many episodes. Considering it didn't cost them anything because AMT built it for them, but it cost them in licensing fees for the.
Yeah.
It wasn't just for this shuttle; they got licensing fees for all the ships. So the Enterprise, the Klingon battlecruiser, the Romulan Warbird, and the shuttle. AMT got license rights for all that stuff and the phasers. Yeah, all that stuff. So that was one just to do the shuttle. So, yeah, I'm sure that license is not active anymore. Anyway, so that's kind of it. I mean, what do you guys think of this episode? Do you like it? Do you like Metamorphosis? Is it one of your faves? I mean, if so, tell me why, because I never found it that thrilling.
Same.
I found it kind of boring.
She's whiny. She's snotty.
She's whiny. The companion's kind of annoying. Everybody's annoying. There's a lot of annoying. The neat things are his instruments, which are all kind of like old Air Force aircraft instruments, the stuff that he says, oh, those are my instruments, and they're all like 100 years old by Kirk standard. Yeah, James has some of those. Some of those are like bomb sites and stuff like that from planes. Hard to find stuff.
Let's do Immunity Syndrome. I like Immunity. I like me a bottle show.
So basically, this one is kind of interesting.
A lot of throwing themselves around the set on this episode.
It's a very Obi-Wan thing. As if a million voices cried out in terror, and then were suddenly silenced.
Yes, he suddenly had an Obi-Wan moment, didn't he?
He had an Obi-Wan moment.
It wasn't a million. It was just 400.
I know, it was 400, but I'm saying...
What was the name of the ship? It was the Intrepid.
Intrepid.
Why was the Intrepid basically Vulcan staff?
That's an excellent question. Why even it being a Starfleet
Were there
ship?
any humans on the Intrepid?
All the stars are at this, and TOS was very human racist because all the ships had Earth type names. They were the Excalibur, the Enterprise, the Yorktown, the Intrepid. I mean, rattle them off. The Hood. I can't think of what are some of the other ones. It was just one after they're all named after Earth.
They're all human
naval
people.
ships. Yeah. Nothing, and yet you have a.
Later on in the movies, they finally start naming ships after other stuff.
Yeah, right. They did, but I'm talking about original series, everything was always humans.
Yeah.
So what didn't make any sense was, if I would have bought it if it was not named the Intrepid and they just said it was, so we could have said that there was a Starfleet ship that was really a Vulcan ship, part of Starfleet, or associated with Starfleet, and that's why it was crewed with all Vulcans. But it didn't make any sense that it was another Constitution class, which is what they imply. And Constellation is another one. Yeah, thank you, Bill. Why? And the other thing is, wasn't Spock supposed to be the first Vulcan in Starfleet? So now all of a sudden we went from the first to enough to crew an entire ship.
The whole ship.
So that didn't jive with me. So there's some
quickly.
Yeah, they accelerated very quickly. Accelerated quickly. So, but really, technically, Paul was the first Vulcan in Starfleet. Technically,
yeah, technically, it was.
If you want to really go to, because she did join.
She was
Starfleet
there to babysit. She wasn't a spy.
No. By the fourth season, she's wearing a Starfleet uniform.
Yeah, that's true. She was originally sent to spy or babysit.
And she eventually left. She left the Vulcan science, whatever the hell it was, and she went and became part of Starfleet to stay on Enterprise. So anyway,
as you know,
we digress. So anyway, this ship is all of a sudden everything's dead.
Hey,
We're all dead. Everybody's dead on the ship. Spock can sense it like he has the Force. One thing I thought about this episode, McCoy was just an ass in this episode. Was it just me? He was particularly nasty to Spock. I felt like unnecessarily.
He was a little short with Spock. I agree.
I think a little short's being a little kind.
On your TV screen when you were watching, I felt like Bill, DeForest, and Leonard were all sweaty. Like I could actually see beads of sweat on their foreheads.
Probably maybe the air conditioner went down in the studio that day.
And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, where was the makeup girl? No one wanted to blot them.
Nobody
like, what is happening? Was it an effect that I missed?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, you don't see. You only notice
it. And I didn't notice it.
But you only notice it now because you're watching it in Blu-ray.
Because I wasn't, but the big screen
But I'm
TV.
saying the original, when you watch the show back in the day when it was regular,
on a little cathode
and
ray
on a
tube.
crappy TV, and it was already standard definition.
You didn't see that stuff.
You didn't see any of that.
See anything.
No, exactly.
All right, move on. Yes.
So anyway, they find they're already tired because they're supposed to go on.
This is on Shirley or something.
They find this black spot in space. It's like a null zone that this amoeba.
And then they fly right into it.
They fly right into. I don't know why he's like, we're just going to go look, and then wait a minute, we're in it.
Oh,
that was kind of like we went from we're going to approach it to we're inside it. But anyway, everything works in reverse. So
and then everything up is down, down is up, left is right.
They find the giant amoeba at the center, and it's getting ready to. Apparently, it ate a solar system with a whole bunch of people too.
It was 11,000 miles long.
Yeah, it was like so. So here's the thing: was the point of this show to imply that we are all just part of a micro universe, and like this is just a cell. And that we're just coming across it because everything is so tiny.
Yeah, it was supposed to make you think like we always think we're so big, and you said, "Oh no!"
Well, like okay, they're like, "Oh, it's gonna reproduce, and there's gonna be hundreds of these things." And I'm like, "So you think this was the only one?"
Yeah, well, a cell can just divide; it doesn't need a.
I know, but I'm like, where you're right. Probably another one came from somewhere.
There's others. Where are they? They're just all out there floating in space. Space is vast. I get that.
So I don't know. But anyway, it was an interesting idea. I don't know if I really, again, kind of science-wise, it's kind of a stretch, but
the science, the immunity, the antibody bit was clever.
So they kill it pretty easily when you think about it.
Oh yeah.
So like, if another one shows up, they know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They could usually prepare a ship that could probably handle going inside easier. And put the antimatter bomb up against its brain or whatever they did, the chromosomes.
It's a cell. I don't even think it has a brain. It was
the chromosomes, and
the analogy was literally a cell, like literally a cell.
Yeah, it was basically like an amoeba.
Yeah,
and they blew it up.
They blew it up,
and of course they rescued Spock in the Galileo. It didn't.
Oh yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's out floating around the Galileo doing whatever.
So that was what I was just getting to with when Spock goes, I guess you should have wished me luck, Bones. Doctor, you should have wished me luck. And
how did they say goodbye? I should have.
Well, they were. Yeah, he was kind of going back and forth.
That Bones sniped down. Bones thought he was going. I remember that.
Well, eventually Jim kind of implied that. It's like, said, sorry, Spock, meaning sorry, you're the one that's basically going to die.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you guys? I mean, tell me. I thought McCoy was over the top, kind of being overly mean to him, and I don't think it was like I didn't see Spock sniping back. I mean, I know maybe the more I watch the original series again, I'm noticing it more.
You notice stuff. There are other episodes where the Spock McCoy dynamic was a good dynamic and a good part of the show. This was not.
But there was always kind of the underlying like McCoy would come up and say, "I'm sorry," like he would kind of apologize or. Like during what was the one Tholian Web, was one where they were definitely at odds, and then he kind of came around towards the end and said, So I don't know. I just felt
there was a little professionalism. There was no professionalism in this episode. They were all just at each other's face.
But you're right. So the only time we actually see the Galileo full size or the 3/4 size, if you will, is in the shuttle bay when Spock walks out to go get in it.
Yeah, he walks to go get it.
The rest of it, of course, is all models.
Which reminded me of the yellow circle on the floor. And then I asked Dave if we were having a yellow circle on the floor, and he said no.
No. So the idea. So by the way, so you guys get it. When you see the shuttle sitting there and you see the bay doors, the shuttle is in its bay. So the way they're imagining this is, okay, you have the shuttle bay and the clamshell doors, right, that go out to space. The other side, across from those clamshell doors, are 3 shuttle bays, garages, if you will, that the shuttles sit in. I believe they say that the Enterprise had 3 shuttles. I know we only ever hear about Columbus and Galileo.
Until it's time to be used.
Right, so they're parked in there. So where you saw the thing is where they bring it out to be launched. So what we're imagining in TIE is that it's sitting in that little garage, and that you're looking out and you can see the clamshell doors.
And probably the circle on the floor, but it's going to be
maybe,
way over there.
but you're not going to see the circle on the floor because the shuttle's in the way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, that's the thinking. In case anybody's wondering what.
I feel like we should have just two legs sticking out from under it, like there's a mechanic under there with a wrench. Just.
Oh, I thought you meant like with ruby slippers and stripe.
Yeah, that too. We could do that too. No, I just think two like overall covered legs.
That would be kind of funny. With some sound effects of a wrench.
Sound effects. That's what I.
There's already too much sound effects he's added, in my opinion. So those that haven't been up there lately, you'll know.
That's a whole other show. We'll get into that.
But every time we want to do something silly like that, James shoots it down.
Yeah, he does. Chris has a great point. He's absolutely right. McCoy was being a snot right up until he said, "Shut up, Spock. We're trying to save you." That was pure McCoy.
I guess that's definitely was a pure McCoy line, no question about it. And of course, he had to get him back, and you botched the acetylcholine test or something, whatever. You botched whatever. I doubt he botched anything because he's Spock, but he's the Scotty puppet. We have the guy that comes up that could probably make the puppet.
Not that puppet. We should get the Stranger Worlds puppet.
You guys have seen the Robin Curtis as Savick puppet. I assume.
Have you guys seen the Savick puppet? Ask us. I don't know if it's still at the studio though. I don't know if it.
I don't know.
Ask us sometime if it's there. We'll dig it out for you because whoo.
James should if he wants to scare the crew, he can hide that around places.
Just make it.
Anyway, he used to do that with. He had the full size Kirk and Spock, the wax figures.
Yeah, he'd put him in the transport room. And Sue.
He'd move them around. He'd move them around on purpose so that when Sue went and turned all the lights on, she'd scare her. Anyway, poor Sue. We do miss her. Anyway, so that's and then they go in. Yeah, they blow it up. They blew it up, and that's the end. And everything goes away. There's no goo. It just evaporates. There's no goo. Just the stars come back.
But I like that. I don't know why. I just still like this show. I like it better than Metamorphosis.
I do like it better than Metamorphosis. Again, this isn't one of my super. I always remember. See, I always classify these. How I felt as a kid when you had no control of what episode was going to be aired. Well, they aired them in order, but I didn't know the order back then. Now like I have books and stuff. They'll tell you, but. I still don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell you probably what the next episode would be. Sure, some of them I do. But yeah, this would be like, oh, it's all right. It's it's an okay one. I'll watch it or something. But like, when like the empath would come on, you're like, oh.
Yeah, if there's a lot of talking, like too talky.
The empath. I think most people agree that the children's cell lead, the empath. I mean, those are like the worst episodes.
There's a couple of them. This doesn't have action, but at least it does have some rattling of the bridge shakes a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know. Never got the sound thing, like why it made that high pitched sound that Uhura said is not coming through basically the speakers. It's not coming through communication.
Oh, yeah.
So if sound doesn't travel through this vacuum of space, how were they getting the sound?
But maybe they weren't. But they were in the amoeba, so maybe it.
Well, we assume it was still a vacuum outside until they were in the amoeba. In the amoeba, yes, then sound would be Right, sound would transfer through the lattice, whatever.
Pretend the amoeba made noise. I don't think amoebas on Earth make noise, but maybe a space amoeba makes noise. I don't know.
Right. So there were some good engineering shots in this one. We did get to see again not only Scotty's office, but the emergency remote monitor.
Yes, we saw. You know what we saw is the room up above engineering that looks down
emergency
on
remote.
engineering.
It's called emergency remote monitor.
Is this the only episode we see that in?
No,
I think it is.
No, many episodes. We see it in Wink of an Eye. We see it in Mirror. I'm sure there's more. A bunch of there's. We've been a bunch of episodes. Now that set, by the way,
every now and again, James is like, "I'm gonna build it." And I'm like,
that set was only ever built. It was like 8x8 or whatever size it was. And it was just built on top of a scaffolding about 8 feet off the ground. And that's it. They would roll it in when they needed to. It was on regular, and the way they shot it, it made it look like it was way above engineering, but it really wasn't that high.
Yeah. It looked
trick of the
shop
light.
worked.
Yeah.
And if you were going to do, those of you who have been in our engineering, as you walk in past Scotty's office and you're looking down the warp core, on the right are the turbines,
the energizers, I think they call them, or something. The dynamos. Yeah.
Yeah. It would theoretically,
it would be above there. Yeah. But I don't know. It would be difficult to build because, well, it wouldn't be. You could build it and probably put it on a platform somehow. But how would you get people up there and safely?
You had to put stairs, like where the bridge is, where the quote unquote.
It would have to be some kind of rigged up thing. So.
Pretty horrible stairs.
And it was never a standing set. It wasn't
a standing set.
Like, so they rolled it in when they needed it.
But this episode had a lot of great shots of the set. There was a shot where they're coming out near sick bay and they come down the main corridor and they turn and they go past the transporter room and they're heading right to the doors. And my brain went, they're going right to the gift shop. And then they didn't. They turned left and they tucked themselves into that nook. On our set, it's a nook. Like, you can't go too far in there. But they turned like they could go there, which is hilarious. Yeah. Like, I'm watching them and I'm tracking
technically,
where they are, and I'm like, they're going to the gift shop.
As where the transporter is, where you come in, that's the shuttle bay.
Yes.
That's where those arches are, and that's where the shuttle bay would be, is where the gift shop is. So,
but for purposes of making a big ship look bigger, they just turn.
So to go, what they're building is the observation deck. So you'll go. So if you come to the T from the transporter. You go left through those turbo lift doors. You'll be in the observation deck, and then you'll make a left into the shuttle bay
and into the new extension. Yeah, those are doors that up till now remained always closed. We didn't use. No, that's not true either. We did use them every now and again. We used them. Doors down the far
we
end.
use them for sometimes as an extra tour. We had a lot of tours. We'd bring people in that way.
But for now those doors are not being used, but they'll start being used now.
Yep. Sorry, my speaker just fell off my desk.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyway, so that's this. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about this episode. I mean, it was an interesting idea. See
procedural. Like, you see a lot of how the bridge handles stuff, and it was. I liked it. It was fun. You see them all working to figure stuff out. A lot of grabbing of her as she throws herself around the set. And she looks so beautiful. Oh my God. There was a point where she's standing next to, I think, Spock. And I'm not listening to a word they're saying because I'm just staring at Nichelle. She's so
beautiful. Yeah, no, she was definitely smoking hot.
She was spectacular in this episode.
She looked great. She always looked great, in my opinion.
She always looked great, yeah.
And what a sweetheart of a woman, if you ever got to meet her. She was just so nice.
She was lovely. She did come to the set tour a couple years back, and she was lovely.
Yep, sat down in her chair and just said, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
Put her little hand to her ear.
Sat down in her chair, put her hand to her ear, started doing lines.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. And you figure, as an actress, really that was a lame job because all she ever said was, hailing frequencies open, sir. Or something I can't get through. It's the same thing with Chekhov and George.
Chekhov's in this episode, and he's wearing his Monkey's Davy Jones.
Yeah, this is interesting because George must have had the week off. Must have been his vacation.
Yeah, no, George.
Kyle,
did you notice?
Kyle was the helmsman.
Kyle was there, and Eddie Paskey was there.
Eddie Paskey was there, and this must have been. Well, this was season 2, so he would have been still there.
So he would have been there. And then did you notice there was a shot in the briefing room, and Spock sitting at the terminal. Shatner's right next to him, and I don't know where McCoy is, either across or next. And the whole rest of the table is filled. And they had an Asian guy who, from the back, kind of looked like Sulu for a hot minute. I was like, oh wait, George is there. And then he gets up and moves like, oh, that wasn't George.
No, it's not him.
Yeah.
He must have been off that week. Must have been the actors. It
was a great shot of the table. But you know what? I looked at the table and I had to take a double take because there was nothing on the table. Like, the table was empty. And every time I walk in,
they just had the TriViewer. Right. And our set tour, it's covered with games.
It's covered with 3D chess and stuff.
Yeah. It was a call. I'd rather see it. You're right. I'd rather see it more clean and put those maybe somewhere else as a display.
Some of those off.
Yeah, saying these things are all in or just set it up. If you're going to set it up as maybe change it every once in a while. Take the table out, put in recreation.
We have the liars there, the CPI.
But you're right. The table has a lot of stuff on it right now. Our table, so to speak.
So when I
Like,
saw it empty, I had to like do a double take. Like I was like,
yeah,
that's
it doesn't look right.
Okay.
It looks, it looks like it should have stuff. The only thing that really ever was on it was the TriViewer, Spock's computer, and I think there was a a comm thing.
Sometimes they had a pad. Those are called, but yeah.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, like they used the set like this.
Well, it was a bomb episode.
They used the lab. There was a lab shot. They actually stand behind the table in the lab, and they come in front. There was the doctor's office shot, and I could see where they flew the wall to get the doctor's office shot.
Yeah.
There was a ton of engineering. The guys were climbing up the ladder and walking around up top. There was we already talked about the room up above. There, of course, all kinds of bridge, and then every corridor shot, like every which way they could film in that corridor, they figured out how to film in that corridor. Like, yeah, what a great episode for
I think it was a bottle episode, so what took place there really wasn't anything other than the shots on the Galileo, which we all know was enough.
If you've been to a set tour and you just want to admire the set on the original series, check this episode out. It shows so much of it.
Well, I always tell people when I give a tour, it's like if you haven't been on the tour, once you've been on the tour and then you watch
go back
the show, it kind of ruins the illusion a little bit because you know where they're standing in all. I know he's standing right there in relation to the set. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of takes some of the magic away. But
he's examining Spock, and I noticed there's green blood, like the little glass thing that hangs down from the arm. It's green.
Yeah, because
it's kind of
Spock was the only one that ever got a blood transfusion.
Spock was the only one that got blood. Yeah. Yeah, just so many details that you recognize, and you're like, hey, you're literally that meme of Leonardo going.
All right. Anyway, we're pretty much at the hour. As usual, I have no idea what we're gonna do next week.
Neither do I. I don't know what Roy's doing.
Any ideas? Let us know. So. Eventually, we'll do 12 Monkeys, the TV series, once I chug through watching it all.
Oh, what a great series! Stashwick is just in that.
I'm kind of like, how do they get 4 seasons out of this? Because I'm like, after the first.
Oh, it gets convoluted. It's time travel.
I was gonna say
you need a notebook and a pen while you're watching this. The
problem I always have with these shows is, you can't get. I don't know how they can get past the paradox problem, because if they go back and they stop the plague, then nobody's there to go back and stop the plague. So the plague happens, and it's a paradox. So I never understood how they're going to plan to fix that part of it.
How are we going to fix it? Any thought to making the interior? I don't think we have space right now, Bill. But I mean, if we ever, if we can.
Oh, for the shuttle, that's not part of this project, Bill.
That's not part of this project.
Of the current project. James has talked about maybe doing it so if he opens the door, just like they had on the show, you might see the control panel and a chair, but not a full interior. It was never there. If you go in there, any average sized person has to bend down.
They duck to get in, and then when they show them in, they're like upright again. So
it's like I said, it's about 3/4 of the size of it should have been.
Yeah,
to be actual.
Bill, you've been to the set many times. You know our space limitations. Like we don't.
Yeah, so no, that's the deal with that. We get that question a lot. People ask about, you going to do the interior. It never had an interior other than a little bit just to show when the doors open that there's a chair and a console there. That's all they ever put.
A lot of people wonder if we have a lot of backstage. We don't. We have tiny, narrow corridors around the outside of the set. There's
pretty much
almost no backstage.
When you get a tour, you've been through the entire building.
You've been.
There's very little that you didn't walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something old, things to come, something new. 65 in future shows. That was a really old one, though, wasn't that one, Chris? That it was like goes back to the 30s. I don't know if I'm quite prepared for something quite that old. I'm not average size. None of us are. Anyway, we'll come up with something. What is Roy and
I don't know what Roy is doing. Phil has a normal week this week, so lunch with Bill. Thursday is the Captain Phil, and then Friday is Friday night freeform for him. And yeah, that's that. We will all see Captain Phil at Ticonderoga.
Phil, if you watch this, I'm curious to see what your opinion was of the puppet episode, since you love the music episode.
You love the musical episode,
but he was a music teacher, so
I'm going to give him a pass for liking the musical episode.
So anyway, we'll come up with something. We always come up with. I come up with something at the 11th hour.
And we do. There are 2 other Galileo episodes that we may still hit before Ticonderoga.
Yeah, we have to do Journey to Journey to Babel and
I love Journey to Babel.
And the
I actually went as Amanda and for Halloween this year, but
yeah, Way to Eat.
I hate. So just like tonight, I like.
I don't hate that episode. I mean, it's not a great one, but I don't hate it. I don't. I mean, like, I just like children's show.
Don't sing, hello, hey, brother, what the hell that song is? It drives me crazy.
I'm gonna click my heels and jump for joy. Got a clean bill of health from Dr. McCoy.
Dr. McCoy, yeah.
Anyway, all right. It is after 8. On that note, we'll say good night. As always, live long and prosper. And may the force be with you always. Don't say shenanigans.